Hello everybody, welcome to Welch's Math class. It is such a pleasure to see you guys back with me again today. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time today talking about some algebra. We're going to get into section 9.5, talk about that a little bit today. From your course compass work, we'll be in section 9.5. We finished up the material on statistics earlier, and going way back in the course, remember section 9.1 through 9.4? Well, remember those were about signed numbers, and that information will come in very helpful to you now as you get into this information on basic algebra and beginning algebra. Hey, let's get started here by talking about what makes an algebraic expression. Let's just take a look at that together. So, algebra. What makes algebra algebra, or what makes an algebraic expression different than just a regular arithmetic expression? Well, with arithmetic expressions, remember we're just dealing with numbers. 3 plus 8, 7 times 4. Anything that's just dealing with numbers would be an arithmetic or an arithmetic expression. Now, when we get into algebra, we start throwing these letters into the mix. We actually have a name for the letters. They're called variables. So let me give you some examples of algebraic expressions. We'll start off with the simplest one. This very simple algebraic expression. Let's say negative 3x squared. Negative 3x squared. This is an algebraic expression simply because it has this letter in it. That's what makes it an algebraic expression. And the parts of this algebraic expression actually have names, have labels. The letter here is known as a variable. V-A-R-I-A-B-L-E. Now, it's called a variable because what you can do is you can put any number in place of that letter. So the numbers that you might put in place of this letter vary. So there we get the word variable. It varies as to what the value of x here could be. Now, this number in front of the variable, in front of x, this is called a coefficient. C-O-E-F-F-E-C-I-E-N-T. So right in front of the variable is going to be a number a lot of times called a coefficient. The relationship between this coefficient, this number, and this variable is multiplication. So when we see negative 3x, what we really understand is the negative 3 is multiplied by the x. Okay, so the relationship between a coefficient and its variable is a relationship of multiplication. Even though we don't have a time sign here, we know that that coefficient is actually multiplied by the variable. The third part of this is going to be the power, okay, the exponent or power. All right, and so there's an example of an algebraic expression. Very simple algebraic expression, just really one term. This is known as one term, and another name for it is a monomial. M-O-N-O is the prefix abbreviation for one, monomial, M-I-A-L. Okay, so we can have one term. This is a nice little simple algebraic expression. Let's find an eraser. There we go. Got our eraser. Let's look at a couple other algebraic expressions here and give you a sense of what we're kind of going after. Now, we could even have a simpler algebraic expression. We could just say, how about just negative x? Negative x is an algebraic expression. The variable is the x. This coefficient, E-C-I-E-N-T, coefficient is actually negative 1. It's understood. The negative sign in front of the x means it's really a negative 1. So, and then of course it doesn't have a power listed, so the power is not listed. It would just be known as the first power. Okay, if it's only raised to the first power, we don't actually list the power. So just a negative x is an algebraic expression with a variable of x, a coefficient of a negative sign or a -1, and the power is the first power. Let's throw a couple other examples of algebraic expressions. This time let's put a two-term expression up here. Let's say we've got -5x minus y. -5x minus y. So what we have here is two terms in this. This is, ooh, I left out my x. I knew I'd done something that didn't look right. -5x minus y. All right, so what we have here, guys, is a two-term expression. Okay, the first term is -5x. The coefficient on the -5x is the -5. Okay, it does not have a power. And then the second term is the -y. The coefficient on the -y is an understood -1 right there. All right, so this is a two-term expression. Let's see if we can write this out. Two-term expression. And we would know that as something called a binomial. B-I-N-O-M-I-A-L. A two-term expression is a binomial. Okay, so you got a couple examples here of algebraic expressions that I wanted you to kind of be aware of. Remember, we can put, with an algebraic expression, we can set the value for these variables at whatever we want it to. So let's say we've got this expression right here, this -5x minus y, and we wanted to evaluate that given some values for x and y. So let's suppose we said given x equal, let's say, 6 and y equal, let's say, -8. Okay, given that x equals 6, y equals -8, and for our purposes now, we could let x or y equal anything at this stage because they're just variables, okay? So given that, let's evaluate the expression. So given this, evaluate. Ooh, I'm having a hard time spelling today. The expression. So to evaluate that expression, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to take these values and plug them into the expression. It's very similar to substituting into a formula. You remember back in our geometry, where we had all the different geometry formulas, you know, we might have a length and a width or something like that, and we would substitute the length and the width into a formula to get the area of, let's say, a rectangle. This is similar to that, although this is not a formula. This is just an algebraic expression, and we're going to plug these values in. So when we plug the values in, what we want to do is understand the -5 right here is my coefficient, and again, the relationship between the -5 and the x is multiplication. So it's -5 times x. So I want to set up a -5 times, and I put the times, a parentheses for the times, -5 times 6. And then I come behind that with minus. Now, this is interesting because the formula has the minus here, or not formula, but the expression has the minus here. We're using that, but the y itself here is a negative number, is a -8. So we're going to need to come right back here and put -8. So we're accounting for two negative situations here. We've got the negative right here that we drop down, and then the y itself is a -8, and we put that in parentheses. So we're substituting in these values into this expression right here in parentheses, and now that we've substituted them in, we're going to evaluate the expression and see what the expression is. What does this expression evaluate to? What does it work out to when x is 6 and y is -8? Well, let's work it out. First we'll do 5 times, or -5 times 6 is -30. We've got this double sign right here of minus minus, which simply becomes plus. Remember that from sign numbers. So the first step in my evaluation, I'm going to get -30 plus 8. And of course, a -30 combined with a positive 8 gets me a -22. Pretty cool here. So we took this algebraic expression, this two-term algebraic expression, we substituted the values in, we worked it out, and so -5x minus y given x equals 6 and y equals -8, evaluates to -22. Let's do another one to give you a little more sense of this and maybe a little bit more practice in taking a look. This time, let's take a look at the expression -c minus 6b. -c minus 6b. Let's evaluate this when c equals, let's make c -4, and let's make b equal -5. Again, it could be anything, but we're just plugging these values in and going to evaluate this expression. All right, so c being -4. Now understand, in the expression itself, we already have a negative in front of c. So what we want to do is we want to let c itself be -4, and we want to bring down this negative. So we're accounting for both negatives. We got the negative right here with the 4. We've got the negative that we're bringing down in the expression. Then we're bringing down this negative. Okay, and then there's the 6. Now the b is -5. So in parentheses, right here, that's b. So you can see how these values are being plugged into that expression. All right, now at this point, we just want to work out what we've got in this expression. Of course, right here, double signs that are the same become a plus, and since it's the lead term here, we don't actually need to put a plus in front of it. Anytime you've got a standalone number or a number in the very front of an expression and it doesn't have a sign, you know it's a plus. We don't have to put a positive right there to know that. And then this -6 times this -5 give me a positive, what is that, 30? So what we end up with then, of course, is 34. So -c minus 6b, when c equals -4 and b equals -5, evaluates down to a positive 34. Cool, huh? Good deal. Good deal. All right. I want to take a minute now and talk about, for a second, with you guys, a little quick look at what the difference is between an algebraic expression and an equation. An algebraic expression and an equation. So let's start off by maybe writing down an expression. Let's put down an expression. Okay, so we've got an expression like 3x minus 5. Okay, that's an algebraic expression. It's got a letter in it. Okay, so here's an expression. Okay, now over here I want to put another expression. I want to put the expression, let's say 2x plus 4. Okay, so here's another expression. All right, so guys, when we have these two expressions right here and we set them equal to one another, what we end up with, when we take two expressions and set them equal to one another, what we end up with is an equation. Okay? So an algebraic equation is when you have an expression equals an expression. So you could have standalone expressions, like just 3x minus 5 is a standalone expression, or 2x plus 4 is a standalone expression, or many times, and in fact most of the time with what we're working with, you're going to take two expressions, set them equal, and we're going to call that an equation. What we're going to do is actually solve equations. Okay, we're going to solve equations. So what do I mean by solve equations? To solve this means we find the number to put in for x that will make this a true statement. So what number can I put in for x here that would actually make this work, that would make this thing true? That's what we mean when we say we're going to solve an equation. We're not going to go into detail on how to solve an equation right here. It's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to do a lot with that as we go. But let me just give you a quick little look at solving this particular equation. I'm going to erase this. Make sure if you need to, if you needed to pause the video so you can catch that, then do it. But a quick look. So if I want to know what number will make this work, I'm going to do some magic. It's called transposing, a little magic transposing. And I'm going to get, tell you what I'm going to get. I'm going to get 3x minus a 2x, and over here I'm going to get a 5 plus 4, and that's just going to be 1x or x, and that's going to be 9. So the truth is, 9 is the number that would make this expression actually equal this expression, and so the whole thing would be true. Let's check that. 3 times 9 is 27, right? I hope you got that. Yeah, 3 times 9 is 27. 27 minus 5 is 22. So 22. So if we let this side be the 9 fill in here, we get 22. Now, 2 times 9 over here, if we put 9 in over here, 2 times 9 is 18, right? 18 plus 4, what's that? Oh, you got it, baby. 22. So 9, oh, my lights went out. Come on, lights. Come on. There we go. I'm back. Good to see y'all. Yeah, so 9 is definitely the number that makes that a true statement. 9 would be the solution to the equation. So I hope that helps you a little bit with 9.5. You're going to be doing substitution evaluation. I've got some more information that's going to come at you on 9.5. In the next video, we'll connect to this also. And you know the difference between an equation and an expression now. I will catch you again next time. Do a little bit of work in 9.5 and know that I've got another video coming to help you with some other stuff there too. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.